Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your very first gameplay and overview straight from the Firebirds dev server of the Sabra Mk.1. This is a currently rank 7 battle rating 9.7 medium/main battle tank in the Israeli ground forces territory. As you can see, we'll be at the final line here of basically the American side, at least currently the final line. Of course, they can go to the Sabra Mk.2 and I believe the Mk.3 as well, but for now, we of course have the Mk.1. Now, this vehicle is basically a heavily upgraded M60 patent, and you could tell it is very heavily upgraded just by the armor here. So this thing has tons, quite literally tons of composite screens along the front end of it that make it actually extremely difficult to pen with things like Heat FS, which at 9.7 BR you actually might be seeing quite a bit. However, the thing that really makes this thing special, I mean, it does have a good amount of armor, at least relative to patents, and of course these composite screens won't be able to handle all too much when it comes to kinetic energy. But the thing that makes this thing special over the earlier patent variants is the fact that you can use the M322. That's right, you have up to 589 millimeters of armor pen all the way down at currently 9.7 BR. Now bear in mind, literally everything can change about this vehicle, including the armor pen, including the weapons it has, the BR, the rank, everything can change up to and beyond the release of the major update. However, this is amazing. If it stays at this BR, that would be amazing. Now, I think for the most part, it has relatively decent armor. It's not amazing armor, but it's actually not too terrible, so I'm not really all too worried about it. The mobility, however, really sucks. It's not even all that close to a 20-to-1 horsepower per ton power-to-weight ratio, which in my opinion is more or less kind of like the minimum of where you'd want to be at this BR, and this is just nowhere near it. 908 horsepower at max is not very good. It has a 24 degree per second to traverse rate. Not bad, not great, just not all that great. Plus also this lacks an HMG, which is pretty interesting. Otherwise, it's a pretty interesting vehicle, decently armored, really well armed, and really not good mobility. So it's almost kind of like the 120S in the American ground tech tree in some ways, except I would imagine this might be a touch better in some ways. I don't know. Either way, let's get into a few matches here, see what we could do. Oh, and just to bear in mind, this does have Gen 1 thermals. That said, let's get into it. Oh, just so you guys know, this is the new abandoned factory map, which, as you could tell, looks quite a bit different. I feel like it's going to be pretty similar-ish, and it does look pretty similar, actually, right now. Just kind of doing it. It's a little bit, obviously, it's a bit different. Rather than side to side, it's top to bottom. But, it's got the same general feel and the same general layout, but looks a lot better, at least in my opinion. It looks a lot more menacing. So this is a bit interesting in that this is taxing the hell out of my graphics card. I mean, I've got a, 3700 Ti? Like, it's no slouch. Ugh. And this is just not doing me any favors. Okay, we have the enemy right there. Got the cannon breach. Perfect. So yeah, this is not doing me any favors, this update. We got the driver, too. Hopefully I can get myself the kill. I am having no problems actually penning these vehicles. Got the driver there. Come on. Got the kill. Very nice. And also bear in mind, I know that these people that I'm fighting right now, they're not bots. But there are a lot of bots, as you can see. Pretty much almost the entire enemy team is just full of bots, including that guy right there. So, with that said, let's go ahead and shoot through. Start capping the C point in a second here. That's a bigger tank, so I want to fight him first. And then, of course, we can start getting this. But, I mean, thus far, I'm actually kind of impressed by this vehicle. As I kind of thought, the mobility is not good. But I don't think it's all that terrible. I mean, so it's not good. It's probably like at best a 5 out of 10. But you know, I mean, it's workable mobility. It's not something so bad that I feel sick just looking at it. So I mean, overall though, this is a pretty decent tank. And again, as another quick reminder, dev server means a lot of World War II tanks. So we're gonna be fighting those for a little bit here. At least until these guys spawn back in. But, oh, and one other thing here, when it comes to this, okay, I think that may have been an actual enemy. But, one thing regarding this major update here is that, oh, whoo, nice, is that, like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, the ray tracing, yeah, but I looked in the settings, I don't think the ray tracing is active yet. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's quite active yet. I think that there might be an enemy player over there. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think the ray tracing is quite active yet. Again, a bunch of World War II tanks. There's not really so much one can do when it comes to actually choosing your targets. You just have to kill whoever's in front of you if you have that ability, and I do. But right now I'm getting 60-ish frames per second. Typically, I get over 100. So, like, I mean, when I say over 100, I mean probably closer to 200. So this is actually really, really rough right now. Again, a bit of a surprise by how bad the performance is. Like I said, when the last update initially came out, we had it where there was a huge performance issue right when it came out. Like, it was a massively bad performance issue. And now, you know, they fixed it, I think, day one. This, I don't know. This is even worse than that performance. So I'm wondering what that's supposed to mean. But as you saw right there, we had 16 kills really quick. Most of them were against World War II vehicles. But even against the modern vehicles, specifically that T-80, this had no problem penning it. So that said, let's just get into one more quick match. This match is pretty much over. And then we can kind of hang up the video. But not too bad. I mean, like I said, my main concern with this thing was going to be its mobility, and while it's not good, especially towards the top end of its speed, 48 kilometers per hour, it's not terrible. It's mediocre, but not awful. So I wanted to go spawn up here on this side of the map, so that way you could see it a little bit better, this portion of the map. Let's go ahead and put these thermals on. That way you have a better idea of what you can kind of expect with this. Again, this is not, at least from what I could tell, a total map rework. It's a decent enough map rework, but really what they're doing is they're updating the color palettes. It seems, at least, that they're updating the color palettes quite a bit. And it also has, I mean, there are some changes when it comes to, like, the different sprites. I don't know if you'd want to call them sprites. We have that XM whatever, whatchamacallit there. This is where those HMGs would be so nice. But unfortunately, you don't have HMGs on this thing. Rather, you just have LMGs. So, I'm going to go ahead, go up here actually. That way you can see what this side of the map looks like. Because again, this is mostly like a Sabra Mk.1 preview, so to speak. But also, you do deserve to see the rest of this map. Now, also, look at the mobility. It's not bad. It's, again, not terrible, but not as bad as I was expecting it to be. So, there's that. Okay, we got some enemies down here. World War II tanks, as one could expect. Let's go ahead and fire. Maybe I can get a double kill. Nope, got a single hit. That sucks. But, such is life. Let's see. Can I get a double? Nope. Always hoping for that double. So, I mean, ultimately, though, I can say that I am actually very impressed by this vehicle. Like I said before, the overall combination of good enough armor, I would say, arguably very good armor, depending on how you view its composites, versus Heat FS, actually, the composites on this thing are really, really, really good. Versus APF SDS and similar things, obviously not so much. So it really depends on what you're fighting. But in general, I would say that the armor is actually pretty good. You know, it's got Gen 1 thermals that, again, they kind of suck. But what can you really do? You know, Gen 1 thermals at 9.7 BR, it's not unexpected. And it's not really going to necessarily let you down all too much. But just in general, again, unfortunately, we really can't do much but face bots. But in the few encounters I actually had with people, again, I'm pretty impressed by this thing. The turret traverse is a touch better than I expected. Here's an actual person. If I can fire on them. Oh, thank goodness we got the cannon barrel. Oh, man. that was not on purpose, but the armament I'm very impressed with. The cannon is excellent. The ammunition options are very good. You do have an optional, as you can see, like the HETF, the time fuse, which is very good, but you don't get to have a regular, whatchamacallit, like a regular HE. It's only the time fuse for whatever reason. So you have to bear that in mind. But otherwise, I mean, I'm genuinely actually pretty impressed by this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it go up in BR. I just got killed by BVM, of course, which is to be expected. But I would not be too surprised if the Sabra Mk.1 went up in BR to 10.0, just because of its really powerful armament. And also, again, pretty good armor. But with that being said, that about finishes it for this video. I don't really have all too much more to say about the Sabra, except the fact that it's actually a really nice addition to the Israeli ground tech tree. I feel like it's going to be a very powerful tank at its BR, and it has, again, a really good armament and pretty good armor, and not great mobility, but surprisingly not terrible. Just a bit mediocre. So, with that said, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this new map, the redesigned map, in the comments below. I mean, in my opinion, it looks pretty damn good. It's not like a huge overhaul or anything like that. This is going to be a very familiar map to most players, but it's still a nice upgrade for what we had prior. I just hope that most people's graphics cards do not end up melting, kind of like mine is doing right now for whatever reason. But I think that's just like them having to work on the coding a little bit with this. But who knows? Either way, I'm gonna die here. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.